The vast darkness of space stretched endlessly, silent and cold. Captain Hyun Park stood on the bridge of the human exploration vessel Quantum Horizon, his eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the unfamiliar star system ahead. Something felt different about this mission, a tension that crawled beneath his skin like an electrical current. The ship's sensors began to ping softly, then rapidly. Strange energy signatures were emerging from the darkness. Lieutenant Yoon-ji Choi, the ship's primary sensor specialist, leaned forward with intense concentration. Her fingers danced across the control panel, filtering and analyzing the incoming data. "Captain," she called out, her voice steady but urgent. "We're detecting multiple large mass signatures. They're not natural formations." Hyun Park knew exactly what that meant. Alien vessels. Not just small probes or research craft, but something substantial. Something that suggested a civilization far more advanced than humanity's current understanding. The first visual confirmation came seconds later. Massive ships materialized from the cosmic background, sleek, metallic structures that seemed to bend light around them. Their design was unlike anything humans had ever encountered. Sharp geometric shapes in deep metallic grays, with pulsing energy lines that suggested technologies beyond current human comprehension. "Battle stations," Hyun Park commanded, his voice calm but firm. The bridge crew responded instantly, their training kicking in with military precision. Weapon systems powered up, defensive shields initialized, and communication protocols prepared for potential first contact. The alien vessels made no immediate aggressive moves. They simply surrounded the Quantum Horizon, creating a perfect geometric formation that suggested incredible technological coordination. No communication attempts were made, just a silent, threatening presence. Yoonji's sensors were working overtime. "Captain, their energy signatures are unlike anything in our databases. They're generating quantum-level disruption fields that could potentially disable our systems with a single pulse." Hyun Park understood the implications. One wrong move could mean total destruction. These weren't explorers. They were predators, sizing up their potential prey. In that moment, Captain Park made a decision that would become legendary in human military history. Instead of showing fear or aggression, he chose an unexpected strategy. He activated the ship's universal communication array and broadcast a simple mathematical sequence: prime numbers, the universal language of logic and intelligence. For several tense minutes, nothing happened. The alien ships remained motionless, their intentions completely unreadable. The human crew held their collective breath, waiting. Then, unexpectedly, the alien vessels began to respond. Not with weapons, but with a similar mathematical sequence, slightly modified. They were communicating, analyzing, testing. What the aliens didn't know was that Hyun Park was more than just a starship captain. He was a trained xenolinguist with a background in advanced mathematical communication theory. While they thought they were probing humanity's capabilities, he was simultaneously gathering critical information about their communication protocols. The quantum sensors on the Quantum Horizon began collecting unprecedented data: energy patterns, communication rhythms, structural design characteristics. Everything was being recorded and analyzed in real time. Suddenly, one of the alien vessels made a subtle movement. To an untrained eye, it might have seemed random, but to Hyun Park it was a clear tactical repositioning, a potential prelude to an attack. "Defensive pattern Delta," he ordered softly. The crew moved with practiced efficiency, redistributing energy, adjusting shield harmonics, preparing for potential conflict. The next few moments would determine the fate of humanity's first serious extraterrestrial encounter. One miscalculation could mean total destruction. One brilliant strategic move could open unprecedented opportunities for understanding. Hyun Park watched the alien vessels, his mind racing through countless potential scenarios. His hands remained steady on the command interface, ready to execute complex maneuvers at a moment's notice. This was more than a mission. This was humanity's first real test against an unknown civilization. And Captain Hyun Park was determined to ensure they would be remembered not as victims, but as a species worthy of respect. The research facility looked like nothing special from the outside. a simple concrete building nestled in a remote mountain region. But inside, something extraordinary was happening. Dr. Sung-Ho Kim stood before a cluster of holographic displays, his eyes burning with determination. Scattered across workstations were fragments of alien technology recovered from the first encounter. Each piece was a puzzle, a potential key to humanity's survival. Scattered team members worked with intense focus, their fingers moving rapidly across advanced computing interfaces. Commander Yuna Lee entered the facility, carrying a sealed container with a newly recovered alien component. Her military uniform was crisp, her movements precise. She understood what was at stake. Humanity's entire future depended on understanding these technological mysteries. "We've got less than 6 months," Sung-Ho muttered, more to himself than anyone else. The alien fleet's initial encounter had made one thing clear: humanity was technologically outmatched. Dae-Hyun Kang, the team's primary technical specialist, was examining a strange crystalline structure that seemed to pulse with internal energy. "This material," he said quietly, "it's not just a component. It's almost like a living technology." The crystal responded to his touch, shifting subtle colors: blue, green, then a sharp, electric purple. Each team member stopped and watched, understanding they were witnessing something unprecedented. Yuna approached the workstation. "Can we replicate it?" Dae-Hyun shook his head. "Not yet. But we're close to understanding its quantum signature." Weeks of continuous work followed. No breaks, no rest. Just pure, focused human determination. They analyzed every microscopic detail, ran countless simulations, pushed computing systems beyond their designed limits. The breakthrough came unexpectedly. During a routine energy transfer experiment, Sung-Ho noticed a strange quantum resonance. The alien crystal wasn't just storing energy. It was communicating, transmitting information at speeds humanity had never imagined possible. "We're not just looking at a technology," Sung-Ho explained to the team. "We're looking at a living communication network." Military strategists were brought in. They understood immediately that this wasn't just a scientific discovery. This was a potential game changer in the upcoming conflict. Commander Yuna began designing initial weapon prototypes based on the new understanding. Plasma fusion cores that could adapt in milliseconds, quantum adaptive shields that could predict and neutralize incoming energy attacks. The alien technology was teaching humanity something profound. That technology wasn't just about power, but about intelligent adaptation. Dae-Hyun developed the first quantum adaptive shield generator. During initial tests, it successfully deflected energy signatures that would have previously obliterated entire spacecraft. The team watched in silent amazement as their creation performed seemingly impossible defensive maneuvers. But they knew this was just the beginning. Each breakthrough came with new questions. Each solution revealed more complex challenges. Sung-Ho rarely slept. When he did, it was for short intervals, often at his workstation. His mind was constantly processing, constantly analyzing. The fate of humanity rested on understanding these technological mysteries. The alien crystal continued to pulse, sometimes blue, sometimes green, sometimes that strange, electric purple, almost as if it was watching them, learning, waiting. Commander Yuna understood the psychological pressure on the team. "We're not just developing technology," she would remind them. "We're writing humanity's survival strategy." Weeks turned into months. The research facility became a beacon of human potential. Scientists, engineers, military strategists, all working together with a single purpose. They were no longer just defending. They were preparing to fight back. The alien crystal continued to pulse, watching, waiting. Humanity was learning its language. And soon, they would speak it better than its original creators. The stars looked different that night. Fleet Commander June Park knew something was about to change. His fingers moved across the holographic tactical display, tracing potential attack vectors that would have seemed impossible just months ago. Talking, alien communication hub hung in space like a massive metallic spider. its intricate network of energy conduits spreading across multiple star systems. No human fleet had ever successfully penetrated such a complex defensive structure. Until now, strategic analyst Minseo Choi stood beside him, her calculations displayed in rapid sequence. "We have a 37% chance of success," she said matter-of-factly. But her eyes told a different story. They burned with a confidence that suggested those odds were about to change. Tactical Officer Seok Jin Hwang was preparing the quantum jump sequence. The technology was still experimental, developed from the alien crystal's mysterious energy patterns. If it worked, they would achieve something unprecedented in military history. "Initiate quantum synchronization," June Park commanded. The human fleet began to shimmer. Not just one ship, but multiple vessels started to blur at their quantum edges. Something strange was happening. They weren't just moving. They were becoming something else entirely. Minseo's calculations showed multiple potential arrival points. Not sequentially, but simultaneously. The alien defensive systems were designed to track and intercept linear movement. But humans were about to show them something entirely different. Quantum physics became warfare. The first ships materialized, without warning. One moment, empty space. The next, entire squadrons appearing across different sectors of the alien communication network. The precision was mathematical. The timing, perfect. Alien defensive systems went into complete chaos. Their tracking algorithms couldn't process multiple simultaneous threats. For the first time, the technologically superior civilization found themselves completely overwhelmed. Seok Jin's fingers danced across the control panel. Each quantum jump was a calculated risk. One miscalculation could mean total destruction. But human ingenuity was pushing the boundaries of what was possible. The alien communication hub started to destabilize. Energy conduits that once looked impenetrable began to fluctuate. Defensive platforms that had seemed invincible started to collapse. June Park watched the tactical display with calm concentration. This wasn't just a battle. This was a complete reimagining of space warfare. Smaller human support vessels began targeting critical infrastructure, not with brute force, but with precise intelligent attacks that exploited quantum-level weaknesses. Each strike was calculated, each movement strategic. The alien fleet tried to respond. But their entire communication network was now compromised. Their ability to coordinate had been completely neutralized. Minseo's voice cut through the tension. Communication network is 68% disabled. Defensive platforms losing synchronization. Seok Jin continued managing the quantum jumps. Ships appeared and disappeared, creating a warfare style that seemed more like a complex dance than traditional combat. Hours passed in what felt like moments. The alien communication hub, once a symbol of technological superiority, was now a disintegrating mess of failing energy systems. June Park realized they were witnessing more than a battle. They were watching a fundamental shift in galactic power, dynamics. As the final quantum jump sequence completed, the alien defensive network collapsed completely, not through overwhelming force but through intelligent, adaptive strategy. The human fleet had done the impossible. They had defeated a technologically superior civilization by understanding something profound. True power isn't about strength, but about adaptability. Silence filled the bridge, not a silence of exhaustion, but of pure, focused achievement. They had changed everything. The Kaplan Empire's home system glowed with an eerie, menacing light. Admiral Woojin Kim studied the holographic star charts, his weathered hands tracing potential invasion routes. This would be humanity's most critical mission. Captain Hyejin Park stood beside him, her eyes reflecting a calm determination that belied the massive challenge ahead. Their fleet represented humanity's final hope. Years of technological development, strategic planning, and pure human resilience concentrated into this single moment. The alien defensive perimeter looked impenetrable. Massive energy barriers surrounded their primary star system, with weapon platforms positioned at mathematically perfect intervals. Any conventional attack would be suicide. But humans were anything but conventional. Sung Min Lee, leading Special Operations, had developed a strategy so complex it seemed almost impossible. They would not attack the system directly. Instead, they would infiltrate, destabilize, and collapse the system from within. Small stealth units began their approach. These weren't traditional soldiers, but hybrid human-AI operational teams. Each member had been trained to think beyond normal combat parameters. They were more like living algorithms than traditional military personnel. The first phase involved quantum communication disruption. Specialized drone units began transmitting complex interference patterns that slowly broke down the alien communication networks. It wasn't about destruction. It was about creating controlled chaos. Hai Jin's squadron moved with surgical precision. Each ship was now equipped with quantum adaptive shields and plasma fusion weapons, developed from the alien crystal technology. They were no longer just defending. They were transforming warfare itself. Intelligence gathered from previous encounters revealed the Kaplan Empire's critical weakness. Their entire civilization functioned like a massive interconnected neural network. Disrupt the network's communication, and the entire system would begin to collapse. Sung Min's special operations team began targeting critical infrastructure, not with weapons, but with intelligent viral algorithms that could penetrate and destabilize their technological systems. Each infiltration was like a precision surgical strike. Admiral Wu Jin watched the tactical displays. What was happening wasn't just a battle. It was a complete systemic deconstruction of an entire civilization's technological infrastructure. The Kaplan defensive platforms began to malfunction, first slowly, then with increasing frequency. Energy barriers flickered. Communication channels became fragmented. Their once perfect technological system was showing critical vulnerabilities. Hai Jin's voice remained calm over the communication channel. Primary objective approaching. Prepare quantum. Disruptive sequence. The human fleet didn't just attack. They danced through the alien defensive systems, each movement calculated, each action part of a larger, intricate strategy that the aliens couldn't comprehend. Massive energy weapons that would have previously obliterated entire human squadrons now found themselves unable to track the quantum-adaptive human vessels. The technological superiority the Kaplan Empire had relied on was now their greatest weakness. Sung Min's team continued their systematic infiltration. They weren't just destroying, they were understanding. Each algorithm, each viral infiltration was gathering critical information about the alien civilization's technological core. Hours passed like minutes. The Kaplan Empire's defensive systems continued to collapse. Not through overwhelming force, but through intelligent adaptive strategy that exploited every single technological weakness. Admiral Wu Jin understood they were doing more than winning a war. They were demonstrating a fundamental truth about human potential, the ability to adapt, to learn, to overcome seemingly impossible challenges. As the final quantum disruptive sequence completed, the Kaplan Empire's technological infrastructure began a complete systemic collapse. Their once impenetrable defensive network became a massive, failing system. Silence filled the human fleet's communication channels. Not a silence of exhaustion, but of pure, focused achievement. They had changed everything. Humanity had just rewritten the rules of galactic warfare. The negotiation chamber was unlike anything humans had seen before. Metallic walls pulsed with subtle energy, reflecting the advanced technological civilization that was now defeated. Diplomatic envoy Ji Yun Kang stood at the center, her posture calm and confident. Across from her sat Krell, the primary representative of the Kaplan Empire. Once a symbol of galactic dominance, now reduced to a defeated negotiator. His alien features were difficult to read, but his body language revealed complete submission. Commander Hyunwoo Park stood quietly behind Ji-un, representing humanity's military interests. Years of strategic planning had led to this moment, not just a military victory but a potential transformation of galactic relationships. Your civilization's technological infrastructure is completely compromised. Ji-un stated simply. No anger, no triumphalism, just a clear, factual presentation of their current situation. Krell's communication device translated his response. The alien's voice carried a mixture of defeat and a strange sense of respect. We underestimated humanity's adaptive capabilities. The negotiation wasn't about punishment. It was about establishing a new paradigm of interstellar cooperation. Humanity had defeated the Kaplan Empire, not through pure destruction, but through intelligent, strategic intervention. Ji-un presented the initial surrender terms. They were surprisingly balanced. Complete technological exchange, demilitarization of critical star systems, mutual research collaboration. The terms weren't about humiliation, they were about future potential. Hyun-woo observed the negotiations carefully. Every detail mattered. This wasn't just a military surrender. It was the beginning of a potentially revolutionary galactic relationship. The alien representative reviewed the terms. Their communication systems, once impenetrable, now showed clear signs of human-induced modifications. The quantum adaptive technologies developed during the conflict had fundamentally changed their entire communication infrastructure. Your strategy was beyond our computational models, Krell admitted. It was perhaps the closest thing to a compliment an alien civilization could offer. Ji-un understood the deeper implications. This wasn't just about winning a conflict. It was about demonstrating a fundamental truth about human potential. The ability to adapt, to learn, to transform challenges into opportunities. The surrender documents were unique. Instead of traditional military protocols, they included comprehensive technological and cultural exchange provisions. Humanity wasn't seeking to destroy the Kaplan Empire. They were offering a path to collaborative evolution. Hyun-woo reviewed the quantum encryption protocols. Each line of the document was a testament to human innovation. Technologies developed during the conflict would now become tools for mutual understanding. Hours of detailed negotiations followed. Scientific research exchanges, technology transfer protocols, mutual defense agreements. What had begun as a conflict was transforming into a potential blueprint for galactic cooperation. Krell's final statement was profound. We thought technological superiority was about power. You have shown us it is about adaptability. Ji-un's response was simple but powerful. Survival isn't about being the strongest, it's about learning, growing, and understanding. As the final documents were signed, something extraordinary happened. The metallic walls of the negotiation chamber began to shift. Not through alien technology, but through a collaborative quantum adaptive interface that represented the new relationship. Humanity had done more than win a war. They had reimagined what interstellar relationships could look like. The Kaplan Empire's surrender wasn't a moment of defeat. It was a moment of potential transformation. Commander Hyun-woo looked at the signed documents. Years of preparation, technological innovation, and strategic thinking had led to this moment. Not a conquest, but an invitation to a new way of existing. In the universe, Ji-un's hand moved across the final signature. Each stroke represented more than a diplomatic protocol. It represented humanity's potential to turn conflict into collaboration. The negotiation chamber grew quiet. But it wasn't the silence of defeat. It was the silence of possibility.